Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Blake? What? Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is back for more SPTV, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. Grant Cardone done messed up, folks. Grant Cardone done messed up. Guys, we are talking about, of course, one of the most notorious Scientologists, one of the biggest Scientology recruiters, one of the biggest Scientology donors, one of the internet's most famous fake billionaires, one of YouTube's favorite con men, swindlers to make fun of. And somehow Grant Cardone manages to fail upwards using social media to defraud unsophisticated investors to invest in his various projects. Did you guys know Grant Cardone, a number of years ago, just a few years ago, time has been flying over the last few years, so sometimes I lose track of the time, had a class action lawsuit brought against him for fraud, for making fraudulent statements to entice. By the way, unsophisticated investor is a legal term. It's not throwing shade at somebody. It has to do with someone's net worth. Someone with a net worth over a certain amount is legally considered a sophisticated investor. Someone with a net worth under a certain amount is considered unaccredited or unsophisticated investor. Sometimes these terms gets used interchangeably depending on who you're speaking with. And Grant Cardone has made a specialty out of trying to appeal to unaccredited investors using social media to invest en masse in his projects. And so he oftentimes uses fraudulent statements to do this. He faced a class action lawsuit for this, and he threw a massive celebration when a district court threw out the lawsuit. The appeals court just reversed the district court on every single point. It was actually quite a spanking that the appeals court handed down to the district court. And it looks like Grant Cardone is back in the hot seat for fraud. We're going to get to Grant Cardone. Then we're going to cover his brother is also in the hot seat as well in his own legal troubles. His brother Gary is facing civil RICO. I want to say charges, but charges is not the right word because it's a civil lawsuit. All right, let's take this step by step. First, I'm going to share with you a short video that was co-posted onto Instagram by the account Baller Busters. Baller Busters is an account dedicated to exposing online gurus, con artists, and people who basically take advantage of folks financially on social media. And they put up a post, co-posted with JT Fox, who is the star of this particular video. Now, sharing video directly from Instagram is actually very clumsy. So what I did is I captured this video, but it is this video I'm sharing with you is on JT Fox's Instagram account. It is on the Baller Buster Instagram account. And I'm just going to play this for you right here. This is how we're going to begin. Here you go.
Great news. Justice exists in America.
I think for the first time ever, you and I actually agree on something.
This entire case now has been dismissed for the second time. They have 30 days to appeal. It's not going to go anyplace.
Oh, yes, it did. The appeals court just ruled that now the class action can now proceed.
We gave one of our non-accredited investors a great chance to invest with us. Some lawyers probably got involved and suggested there was something here. There was nothing there.
Well, the United States Courts of Appeal for the 9th District has officially disagreed with you.
Here's 5 things we've learned now that the class action lawsuit for securities fraud can now proceed. Number 1, social media hype backfires. You can't say this online.
This is absolutely possible. In 10 years, 15% would be 150% return on your investment. That's what we expect to get.
Number 2, hiding SEC and FBI secrets. He didn't disclose an SEC letter questioning his projections for his investments. And now rumors are swirling around of an undercover FBI probe at his office and undercover FBI agents posing as employees. These omissions could spark even a new class action lawsuit that could be a material effect for his investor. This was reported by Gary Brecka.
Cardone Capital had been under investigation by a federal agency for the better part of 2 years. Undercover federal agents were posing as employees inside of Cardone Capital.
Number 3, finally, a deposition looms. Now he can be asked under oath questions like allegations of front running, where he buys the the investment for himself, sells it at a higher price for his investors, overinflating the assets for a loan. And how many arbitration cases does he currently have suits against him that are not available to the public? Now, this will either answer serious questions and allegations, or it will clear him, but also it could lead to a criminal indictment if found lying or guilty of these things. Who knows? But in the end, people who don't like him will love this. It's a win for them. People who love him will call it fake news and the system is rigged against Uncle G. But in the end, it's the investors that could lose big, and they should contact their legal counsels to make sure that their rights are protected. Now, we all know in the end, the attorneys will win big here, and it will cost him millions in legal and maybe even more if he loses. What do you think about all this? You be the judge.
There you go. Fantastic video. And Rochelle points out we can't talk about Grant Cardone without putting on the 10X hat, baby. You got to get your money right. Yeah. You got to get your money right. If you don't make $400,000 a year, you're not even a man. My jet burns more than $400,000 of fuel per year. Yeah. Get your money right. Just give me your money. Don't worry about it. Okay, so here is the legal filing. I just have a couple sections out of this that I want to share with you. We're going to start with the opinion on page 4. Where'd you go? There we go. Okay, the circuit judge. Okay, McCown, circuit judge. In an uncertain economic climate, the offer of a 15% return on investment may be just too enticing to pass up. And indeed it was. Grant Cardone and the real estate syndicator he founded projected just such an investment return online to unsophisticated investors. Cardone shared his offerings on social media, boasting on Instagram that investors could double their money and telling viewers on YouTube, you're going to walk away with a 15% annualized return. If I'm in that deal for 10 years, you're going to earn 150%. You can tell the SEC that's what I said. It would be, some people call me Nostradamus. Some people, wait, hold on. Tell the SEC that's what I said. Tell the SEC that's what I said it would be. Some people call me Nostradamus because I'm predicting the future, dude. This is what's gonna happen. Now, Grant Cardone said some people call him Nostradamus. In reality, some people call him Nostradamus, but zinger. Okay. Okay, let me see. I think for that section, that was all I wanted to show you. Let's go to number 2 on page 11. Some of these points that the appeals court took up are a little esoteric, and I don't really want to get into them. Just want to get into just some of the things that are just patently obvious. Okay, number 2, Pino sufficiently alleged subjective and objective falsity. Apart from the fraud disclaimer. So let me interject here. It does seem that at some point in the paperwork, that Pino is the person filing the lawsuit. At some point in the paperwork, it seems like Pino signed some sort of a release having to do with fraud. And there was an argument, a ruling made by the district court, an argument made by Cardone's attorneys, and a ruling made by the district court that because there was this release signed that somehow it invalidated Pino's ability to make a claim against Grant Cardone for fraudulent misstatement. And that's one of the things that the appeals court said, no, that's not what that means. Okay, so apart from the fraud disclaimer, and that's what I mean. That's like when they say they disclaimed the fraud, there was a disclaimer, a release that was signed. Apart from the fraud disclaimer, the district court also decided that Pino failed to allege either that Cardone subjectively believed that the internal rate of return and distribution projections, or that those projections were objectively untrue. Given the deferential standard at the motion to dismiss stage, we conclude that Pino's allegations are sufficient. And let me see, did I want to read the rest of this? All right, let's keep read a little bit more. Pino's allegation of Cardone's subjective disbelief is both strong and reasonable. Cardone made a projection of 15% internal rate of return and relatedly high distributions in its initial offering circular. The SEC reviewed the offer and in a letter to Cardone stated that these projections lacked backing and should be removed. Cardone pushed back on other criticisms from the SEC, but not this one, suggesting that Grant Cardone did not truly believe its own projections and lacked evidence to rebut the SEC. Even so, Cardone continued to repeat the internal rate of return and distribution projections in other communications to would-be investors on social media. We acknowledge that the SEC's letter itself did not take a position on the subjective belief or objective falsity of the projections, but Cardone's telling reaction to the SEC letter, removing the projections without any rebuttal or comment, evinces, I think that means evidences, but maybe that's a word I've never seen, evinces Cardone's subjective disbelief. Construing the facts in the light most favorable to Pino plausibly supports the claim that Cardone did not believe these projections in the first place. Guys, the fact that the appeals court is pointing out that the SEC reviewed the materials that Cardone proposed to use for this, I'm just going to call initial public offering, that the SEC reviews the prospectus materials and said, we have a problem with this statement that you're making about the 15% internal rate of return, and that Cardone did not push back and removed the statement from the prospectus material. That is incredible to me, considering that earlier on in the introduction of this thing, it literally points out that even after he removed those statements from his prospectus materials, in response to the SEC calling him out on it, he continued to make those claims. Where does it say it? Where does it say it? Am I getting myself confused? Where does it say it? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it must have been earlier on page 11. Okay, let's see. There it is. There it is. Even so, Cardone continued to repeat the internal rate of return and distribution projection and distribution projections in other communications to would-be investors on social media. This is where the unsophisticated or unaccredited investor status comes into play. There's almost like there's two sets of rules. Grant Cardone knows that by going after investors on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, he knows he is targeting a particular clientele who is not as informed on and educated about the intricacies of these investment vehicles. And I just think it is so telling that when confronted by a government regulator that's like, hey, you can't make this claim. He's like, okay, I won't make that claim. I'll take it from my official materials, but continues to make the claim on social media to people who are much more likely to swallow whole what it is that he is saying, not question it, and not understand the unrealistic nature of the claims that he is making. Okay, I think the only last part that I wanted to show you of this document was just this one part, where it says it's making a point that they're at the early stage of this lawsuit, and that Pino doesn't have to actually prove the claims right now. He just has to actually. Pino is a man. The lawsuit is now being. Pino has passed away. The lawsuit is now being carried forth by, I believe, his daughter. Anyway, it just says we are at the inference stage, not the conclusion stage, and Pino has alleged enough to support materiality at this juncture, reversed. How embarrassing for Grant Cardone. How embarrassing. You never start to celebrate before you cross the finish line. Unbelievable. Okay, let me show you. Grant Cardone's twin brother, also a Scientologist, is Gary Cardone. And Gary's also in a little bit of trouble. Grant Cardone's twin brother, Gary Cardone, accused in explosive RICO fraud scandal. Discovery battle with Microsoft deepens. Now, I don't know what the author or the editor of this piece is doing. These are two photos of Grant Cardone. This is not a photo of Grant and his twin brother, Gary. These are both Grant. If you saw them side by side, you wouldn't think they are twin brothers, because Grant is hopped up on testosterone and HGH and his brother isn't. And they don't look identical anymore. Gary looks much older than Grant right now. Okay, anyway, Gary Cardone, twin brother of famed entrepreneur, con man, con artist, scam artist, Scientologist Grant Cardone, faces severe RICO allegations involving systematic racketeering and deceptive practices. A fierce discovery dispute unfolds as Microsoft is ordered by federal court to hand over crucial Skype communications involving Gary Cardone. The case echoes earlier accusations against Grant Cardone, posing significant reputational risks to the broader Cardone brand. Incredible. All right, I'm not really interested in reading that whole article for you guys, but it's out there. You can find it. Man, oh man, oh man. You know, every day is a great day not to be in a cult, but it's a bad day to be Grant Cardone, the world's most notorious fake billionaire and Scientologist. I think that might be everything that I have on this particular video. I know it's already getting a little bit late, but I got like 2 more videos that I want to do, and I really want to try to squeeze them in. Let's review a handful of starred comments, and we will wrap this up. Constance June, I wonder at some point if Grant will be flying right by us on the way to jail. Captain Willard, I'm a journalist from Hungary, inspired by you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Captain Willard. I appreciate that. And thank you for the super chat. Dino Nuggets Legacy. How has that shower video not hurt him more? I know. I think it's because everyone's too creeped out. Like when I say everyone, I think like real journalists are probably creeped out to run with that video. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, a number of years ago, remember, Grant Cardone's daughters are already underage right now. I'm pretty sure still underage. 4 or 5 years ago, they were much more underage. Elena Cardone decided to go live on Instagram while they were on some vacation in some remote exotic area. And she turned around to, for some reason, film Grant Cardone and his very much underage daughter. Not that it would make any difference if she was overage. It would still be horrifically strange and disgusting. Both unclothed and showering together in the outdoor shower. I mean, it was so weird. Grant had to like hide himself with a towel. His daughter was like hiding behind him, and she's like, hey baby, isn't that sweet? And you're like, no, that's not sweet at all. So anyway, yeah. All right. We have Jeff Augustine, the Scientology Money Project. Who's your daddy, Grant? It's the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Say it, Grant. My daddy is the Ninth Circuit. Oh, that's a good one. And more. At issue is this. Pino said Cardone's online solicitations constituted an offer to sell private securities with a promised 15% return. Cardone said no, his shit talk online was not a solicitation. I know, absolutely incredible. We got Nostradamus up in the hizzy. Aaron, don't be so jealous of my fraudulent abilities. My apologies, Nostradamus. Gabrielle escaping the cultiverse. He's committing continual overts. He needs major sec checking. And David says, watching Grant write numbers on a board gives me the same feeling I get watching someone playing a shell game. Yes, and guys, if any of you saw my chat with Joy Vila a couple weeks ago, you know, she said when she was in Scientology and, you know, she was a high profile Scientologist and she was getting, you know, some national press, and me and some other people were tweeting about her and Scientology and calling her out on stuff. Joy said that when we like gave her a hard time online, she got in trouble for that in Scientology with you know, the officials, the ethics officers and stuff like that. They asked her, like, Joy, what are you doing to pull in all of this negative attention? So it would be my honor, good sir, Grant Cardone, Uncle G, more like creepy Uncle G. Grant, you know, me and my buddies, we're outside protesting outside the Fort Harrison Hotel every Friday night. It would be my honor to have a discussion with you the next time you get pulled into flag for some sec checking, lower conditions, and an ethics cycle because of the bad PR you are creating for yourself and for Scientology, giving all us evil SPs out here reasons to just constantly do content about you and your crimes and the international multi-billion-dollar family-destroying human trafficking cult that is Scientology. So thank you, Grant Cardone, for giving me an excuse to talk about it one more time. All right, everyone, much more to come. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, Oh Dancing for My Love, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.